Welcome!
Welcome, everyone, to the Omniverse of Nick and Part 6 to What If Roman Reigns Was in The Walking Dead. Before we begin, be sure to check out the Omniverse's homepage, where our channel mascot Omni will direct you to the Discord, both Google Docs, and everything that is in the Omniverse of Nick. Along with smashing the like button, subscribing to the Omniverse, sharing the Omniverse around, and turning on all notifications, and commenting future requests and expectations in the comments section. With all that said, let's begin. We open up where we left off, starting the 4th season in this story. And the survivors have been quite a few. Jake, Ophelia, Gretchen and her family, Ephraim, and Lola, who they're with Strand in prison, but hey, survivors nonetheless. Now, we cut to Morgan's group. What happens with them? There's no Alicia, there's no Strand, there's no Nick, there's no Luciana, and there's no Madison and Althelia. So, does this group even still happen? Well, yes. Except for one itsy bitsy teeny tiny little thing. When Morgan sees Ennis and Charlie, they actually join Morgan, John, and Ophelia without knowing that, they're who they are. But with no stadium, that also means that the stadium wouldn't have been built into a home like Madison and everybody turned it into. So they prepare to go there and make it home. Also, June's there too as Naomi and that whole backwards thing, her. Meanwhile, Roman Reigns is at the helm of everything that he has helped thrive for the dam, the auto ranch, and his own home, along with Walker's tribe. Roman Reigns is on top of the world, and with all 3 of these landmarks, everyone is thriving because of him and the bloodline. So Madison and everybody, they cut the right deal by making it a mutual understanding, even if Roman Reigns wants full acknowledgement. But hey, Roman Reigns is more than happy because he got what he wanted. But Troy, remember, is his wise man, taking up the helm in place of Paul Heyman. So one day, Troy says, "Can I have a word with you?" And, of course, Roman Reigns obliges because he's the wise man. And he's gained Roman Reigns' trust throughout this time that they have had hold of everything. Troy says, why have these 3 when Roman Reigns wanted the world? As Troy said himself, if he becomes the wise man, the whole world is theirs. Why make these 3 places thrive when they can make everything thrive? Why have 3 communities acknowledge Roman Reigns as the tribal chief and the bloodline and Walker's people when they can make the world acknowledge Roman Reigns as the true savior of it all? Then he would truly not just be a savior, but he could be like a god to these people. Roman Reigns smiles as Troy, he's understood how Troy speaks, how he thinks, and he actually likes him as a wise man. And then he sits and thinks for this for a second, and Troy's right. He had been so caught up having all 3 of these places thrive for him that he forgot that he could make the whole world. He forgot about the bigger picture, that idea that Walker put in his head. Why didn't he make Walker his freaking wise man? And Troy putting down the law of the land for this idea proves that beating, spearing, kicking, moonsaulting, choke slamming, Superman punching him to death and threatening to end him, it clearly worked. So Roman Reigns agrees. Now is the time. for the bloodline and himself to make the whole world acknowledge him. And Roman Reigns holds up the sign for the ones as he prepares to send out a group to scout for more landmarks, more places, and true acknowledgement for the world to know who he is. Meanwhile, I bet you're wondering, what about Serena? Does she get in the mix at all since she doesn't save Troy? Well, she was never confirmed to be in like an evil group or anything. All we know is that she met Troy, got together with him, she saved him at the dam, she met Alicia, but then she ended up bit, and then it became a whole like kind of subplotting back and forth as Troy and Alicia converted towards the finale. So let's say we do still get Serena, except she's a actual face in this group. And that means just because she is not saving Troy and they go off for, 3 seasons, her and Troy still get together. And Troy still has Tracy. So he's not only a changed wise man and a much, much, much better Troy, and also much more freaking durable because of what he went through, but also it's under much different circumstances. He has a kid, Serena's getting to live, and Tracy's under much better influence. So if anything, this is the best Troy's character could ever bring him. As for the group who goes to look out for more communities, you might ask? Well, Madison, Nick, Alicia, and Luciana, go figure. But along with the Usos, because Roman Reigns isn't going to have people who he's having from these communities go out without his family going as insurance. He's got to lay down the law of the land, and the only way to do that is with family. But then, before they leave, Strand asks for a word from the tribal chief, and he has been imprisoned with Lola and Ephraim for a long time. They have not been let out. So, you know what? He'll allow it. Strand says there's something else that they need to do. They shouldn't be worried about going out to new communities. What they should be worried about is revisiting old. There's one place that he had come back from after being assaulted by the bloodline, where he came back from, they should go check out. Because there used to be another member of Madison's group. His name was Daniel. He had let Daniel to a hotel that all of them had previously been at before ever being at the ranch and meeting with the bloodline and Roman Reigns. But he lied to him. He thought Ophelia, his daughter, was still there. But he lied. He misunderstood. And the hotel might not have been overrun. But he didn't know that. Daniel had just left. The last he saw of him was him running off, as if he was abandoning him, searching for something else. And because he never came back to the dam, he believes that he's either searching for something or he's gone. So he wants to make up for it by telling the bloodline about the hotel. And if truly possible, they can use this hotel for themselves. So Walker, Madison, Roman Reigns, and Troy, the wise man, they all have a discussion about this. And it becomes plainly clear that Strand might be up to something. So they get to talking about trusting him. Madison, she was with Strand. He saved all of them from being burned in Los Angeles. He didn't have to. He saved her son, Nick. But he did. Saved everybody. They wouldn't be here right now if it weren't for him. So, as untrustworthy as he can be at times and misunderstood, she trusts him. Walker, not so much. Reigns and Troy, not really. And Roman Reigns knows about untrustworthy people and says Troy really has no reason to talk. But as a wise man, it's wise of him to admit how untrustworthy he was, as well as put it onto someone who they all know can be just as untrustworthy. But Reigns agrees to let Strand go and go with them to look for more communities. But the hotel, it's not worth it. Especially considering the fact that they had left it and had problems there and it was overrun. There's no point in going back to a dead ground. If ever that hotel becomes something one day, it'll be because the world became theirs first. So Roman Reigns tells them, go. Let the world know who the tribal chief is. Let the world acknowledge the bloodline. And they make their way and eventually find the stadium where Morgan, John, Althea, Naomi, or June, or whatever the frick you want to call her, Ennis, and Charlie all are. And Morgan, he sees one day, as they've all made this place a temporary home, he sees figures coming towards the entrance, aside from the occasional walkers they would have to put down and, all that fun stuff. He sees figures coming towards them. And the group, along with the Usos, make themselves known. Morgan wants to know what they're doing here. Madison introduces herself and everybody else and says these two, they're with a group, a family, a community of thriving communities known as the Bloodline. And they're out to find new places, to fix, to make better, to find more people. And Morgan and Madison continue talking. But as they're continuing to talk, Morgan hears about this acknowledgement of the tribal chief Roman Reigns and the bloodline. But honestly, it sounds like they are thriving, but Morgan just can't help shake the feeling that this is a playing of an old situation, a Negan situation. But Madison says the acknowledgement is more of a scare tactic. She had talked the leader, Roman Reigns, into a mutual understanding, a team up, a common ground situation. So this acknowledgement is because of his family, a tradition, a way of life. But it's not a be-all, end-all to thrive with the bloodline and what they have built so far. They've thrived. And if they make this place their home and continue to find other places, and if Morgan and everybody join the places they already have, they can continue fixing the world little by little. Isn't that what everybody wants? To get out of this mess once and for all? Morgan and everybody agree that it's worth a shot. It's better than what they've been doing. But in reality, all Morgan wants to be is away from people, and now he's gotten himself into a mess where Rick was right, and Morgan's almost been put in his place even sooner. So, everybody gets together at the helm of it all. Lola and Efrain are let loose and put back in charge of the dam, while Madison, Jake, Walker, Morgan, and Roman Reigns are all put into a... If you remember in the original Walking Dead, the people at the prison held a council, as every single community from then onward proceeded to do. This is the Tribal Council. And with that, Roman Reigns stares down Morgan Jones. Will Morgan acknowledge the tribal chief, or will the two duke it out in a never-ending war of the tribal chief's reign, legacy, and eventual acknowledgement of the world, continuing What If Roman Reigns was in The Walking Dead.
Now get out!
What?
Get out! Everybody get out!